everyone, so I'm back in with another video. This round I have some recent pickups to share with you guys. In this video I'm going to show you guys some toys and some video games that I've picked up recently. Again, not finding too much, also not finding the time to go out all that often. So it really isn't easy for me to show you guys a lot of content. But at least I'm trying to figure out a couple things to show you guys here or there. And definitely finding some interesting things over the last few weeks or so. So to get started with, I'm going to show you guys some toys that I found from a couple of different thrift stores. I got this stuff from two different value villages that are relatively nearby, and I already took everything out of the bags. In total I paid $8 for this stuff, kind of steep, but there was some stuff that really interested me in there, so I thought sure I'll go for it, because these days you don't really see that many things at Value Village that aren't sort of McDonald's toys or leftover Dollarama stock, stuff like that that really isn't worth the prices that they're asking at Value Village. But again, every so often stuff does come through. In this instance, at the Value Village that I typically go to, I was really happy to actually see stuff for once. For the longest time, like I said, really not that much coming in. But then I saw this, and at first I'm like, wait, what the hell is that? Then I noticed the shape of the head on this figure, and I put two and two together and figured out almost immediately what it was. This toy, I'm not 100% certain about its actual origin. I'm almost certain, I should say, that it is from the Aliens cartoon series that was released in the 90s. But not too good with that. I know there is a line of Aliens Kenner toys, and this is one of them. It's one of the Xenomorphs, but it's a bull variant, if I remember correctly. There are a couple that are modeled slightly after different animals. This one here is either the bull or the rhino. I haven't been able to tell exactly, but that's it right there. It has an action feature with its head where it does this weird motion like that. There are a couple of other interesting things about this, a couple of different switches and stuff, but I'm still trying to figure out exactly how it is that this works, and trying to figure out also if there's a way to actually just keep the head back, because if you just let it go, it doesn't look that nice. But definitely interesting in terms of sort of Aliens figures, and this was made by Kenner, and it's also Fox branded, because the TV show, I'm almost certain the TV show aired on Fox, and this did come out in 1993, and I think there were 1 or 2 series of these Kenner Aliens toys. Moving on, I went to another Value Village that is definitely a lot closer to me, but I rarely make it out in that direction, so it might as well be pretty far away. I saw this bag of toys for $5. There was a bunch of random stuff in here that kind of interested me, and at the end of the day, should I have even bought this? Probably not, but it seemed interesting, and I haven't been finding much as I drop what little I have found. I haven't been finding that much, so I thought, sure, I'll buy this. So $5 for this bag. First thing is this little metal Batman figure. It's really small. It's made out of metal, and it says 1997 Hasbro Inc. on the bottom of it. If anybody knows what that might be from, I'm assuming that it might be some kind of game piece, like maybe it came from a board game, or maybe even like a chess piece or something else like that. But if anybody knows exactly what that came from, just let me know in the comment section below. Also in this bag were a couple of random pieces. If anybody can identify any of these, I'd be grateful for it. There's this weird rubber piece. I have no idea what the hell that is, but I'm still trying to figure it out. If anybody knows what that might have gone to, it looks like it's got a belt loop there. So I can't tell if it goes this way or that way or any other way. But if anybody knows what that is, just let me know in the comment section below. Another random piece in here, there was this weird robotic tentacle arm thing. Not too certain, but maybe it might be a piece of Doc Ock's robot arms. but again, don't really know about that. But if that looks familiar to anybody, just let me know. But either way, it's probably just going to end up in the trash. Another weird item in here was this one singular arm, the right arm to some kind of figure. It looks like it has spikes on it, like Doomsday from DC Comics, but it doesn't look to be the right color for Doomsday, so I'm still trying to figure out what figure that might have possibly come from. But the rest of the stuff is definitely more interesting in here. Not to say that I can really identify some of this stuff, but it definitely looks more interesting and more put together. This next figure here, all that I know is that it is a Ubisoft figure. They do make some nice figures, even though I have no idea what this is from. I'm going to assume that maybe it's from Assassin's Creed or one of their video game franchises, but this is the figure itself. As you can see, very detailed, very, very nice figure. And even if you look at the head sculpt on it, it is pretty decent as well. Sorry if it doesn't come through all that well on the video, though. Next, there was this little figure that, again, I'm trying to figure out what this might be. It looks vaguely familiar, and I don't even know if I have it in the right sort of setup, because it's a really weird little thing. But that's the figure itself. If anybody knows, again, just let me know in the comment section below. But it looks like some weird giant robot thing, but of course a miniature of it. Moving on from there, there was this sort of undead pirate looking thing that is made by McFarlane, and it came out in 2002. He is missing a hand though, and possibly a couple of accessories, but that's him right there. If anybody can identify him as well, this weird decrepit pirate guy with a peg leg, again, put it in the comment section below and help me out there. And then last of these figures, I do not know the specific name or variety of this figure, but it's almost definitely a Spawn figure. That's it right there. And it has this chain on it that goes mostly all the way around, and it's supposed to connect at some point, but it looks like it might have broken off. He has some sort of weird spiked armor on his side and on his left leg, and then his right leg looks, to me honestly, for a second it looked like a really spiky Dalek, missing like the dome on top of it and missing its arms obviously, but it does look kind of weird. It looks more like a sort of elephant's leg with spikes on it rather than just a foot or boot with spikes on it, but still definitely a very nice figure. And again, these Spawn figures are usually pretty nice quality as well. But moving on from the toys, getting to the video games definitely gets a lot more interesting here. Didn't find anything really amazing that I've been looking for a very long time, but found some interesting buys, I should say. This first game here is for the Wii. I got this at an EB Games for $4.46 plus tax. At first, it doesn't seem all that interesting. It's called Ghost Squad. It's just a, I think it's third-person over-the-shoulder shooter, published by Sega. And at first, just seeing Sega on there made me want to pick it up, take a look at it. And the reason why I went for this, because I usually don't go for shooters like this, and now looking at it and trying to remember it, I think that it's supposed to be an on-rail shooter as well, so maybe it'll be a little bit more interesting. But the number one reason why I decided to go for this is because when looking on the back of this, it might not show up all that well, but if you look right there, you can see that this guy's wearing a panda suit, and he's in this scenario. So it made me think that maybe there's unlockable stuff, and I proceeded to read further into it, and there's a lot of unlockable content, including costumes and weapons and stuff like that in this game. So I thought, you know what, I have to see what is in here. And I haven't gone around to playing it quite yet, but I will pop it into my Wii U sometime soon. because of course I have my Wii U hooked up. My Wii has long been disconnected, and I'll take a look at it and see what's what with this game. Moving on from there, I went to the Valley Village that I usually go to, and I was actually surprised to find some Super Nintendo, Genesis, and NES games as well. But their prices were just ridiculous, and they really didn't have anything all that interesting. But this one game here seemed not that interesting, really, but it piqued my interest in that it was something that wasn't a sports game, and it was only a couple dollars. This game was $5, and the label is in pretty good condition. It is a licensed game of sorts. It's Pink Panther Goes to Hollywood, or just Pink Goes to Hollywood. There it is, and of course cartridge only, $5. Not a terrible price for a Super Nintendo game that isn't a sports game, but it's not like an amazing day one buy or anything like that, but still really nice to still see stuff come in every so often. Moving on from that is the last item that I got, and this one at first, honestly, I didn't even recognize it. I went to the Salvation Army that I usually go to, and they just had nothing. They haven't had anything for weeks. Well, mostly nothing for weeks, and for that reason I sort of just stopped going altogether. But I thought I'd go around, take a look, see if anything did happen to pop up. And at first I didn't even notice this because it was actually covered up by a bunch of other stuff. It was behind a leather jacket, the case for some like grooming kit, which was really gross, and then a couple of other random things, some cameras and different electronic accessories like cables and stuff like that. But I saw this, and at first I thought it's probably just an empty case. I might as well look at it, but it's most likely just going to be an empty case. And then when I opened it up, there was actually something inside. So first I'm going to show you guys just the case. That's it right there. You can probably assume what would go inside there. Sadly, it didn't have that inside. Of course, what would have been in here is a PSP, but no PSP. But you can see that the price on it is, if you can see the price, which I don't think will work out, there you go, $9.99. So you might wonder, $9.99, was it just the case? Is there anything else in there? And thankfully there was something else in there. A couple things actually. A whole bunch of UMDs, including some games and some movies. So let's go through these one by one, but fairly quickly so I can show you guys what was in here. So first up, kind of disappointed about this. These two are pretty much destroyed. They're shredded to pieces. This was completely falling apart. This one here was just Iron Man on the PSP, and this one here is Grand Theft Auto Vice City Stories. This one is in a little bit better condition. It's just sort of the plastic cover on it is slightly broken and pressed in, but it's really hard to pick that up on camera. But those pretty much are a bust. But moving on from there, first up we have Gretzky NHL, followed by Wall-E, and this is the game, not the movie. Then we have the movie, The Italian Job. After that, there are a couple more items in here. There was just the sleeve for Gran Turismo, the real driving simulator, just a little cardboard sleeve that would have come with the pack in game. There was a copy of Superbad, the movie for the PSP. And the last few games in here are definitely a lot more interesting, and games that I do not have, so they will be going right into my collection. Actually, the first one here, I'm not too certain if I do have it or not, but it is Silent Hill Origins. The next game is Mega Man Maverick Hunters. Sorry, it's kind of mixed around in there. And then the last one, which was definitely pretty interesting, never heard of this game, but I think it might be an RPG of sorts. It's Dragondude's Aria by NIS America, or published by NIS America. And sorry about the glare there, trying to deal with that. But yeah, Dragoneer's Aria. So to find all of those for $10, even though a couple of them are lost causes, the rest of them are in pretty good condition. And even what was there for $10, when you haven't been finding all that much lately, it's nice to see it come up once in a while. But that's pretty much all that I've gotten over the last week. A little bit over a week, honestly. But yep, as always, leave comments in the comment section below. Anything you'd like to say, comments, questions, suggestions, ideas, anything at all, and I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Check out my Facebook, Twitter, and website. They're all linked in the description below, and also linked in the description below is a link to my 500 subscribers contest. Check that out as well if you'd like. We're almost to 500 subscribers. We're at just over 450 at this point. So once we get there, I'll be raffling off the Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask on the N64. So hopefully we can get there soon enough. And that's it. See ya.